Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. And if this is your first time here, hello, welcome. This is Essential Patience and I am Patience. And in today's video, I'm giving you money lessons that I wish I had learned earlier. And I'm only 22 years old, so it's still kind of early. I'm in the best decade of my life for compound growth. So I did want to look back at money lessons that would have put me even in a much better situation than I am today. And this is going to be an actually positive video to give hope to the people who are younger that there are things that you can still do at a very young age that would put you in a good position to be financially free in a much faster time frame than the rest of the world. So no matter what age you are, there are things that you can always implement. So let's get straight into the video. But before we do, remember to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, like this video, and let's get straight into it. Money lessons I wish I had learned earlier. The first thing I wish I learned earlier was introducing myself to a budget. Now I started budgeting about 15 years old, like the later part of 15, but I wish I had started even much earlier. Now the reason why is because I did have a good concept of money, but I don't think it was that great. That had I started budgeting earlier, I would have had a better view of what a budget was, how much things really cost in life. Because I think when you're younger, you have an idea, especially if you're not being overly sheltered, but you don't really know the true cost of things. And if somebody says a big amount of money, you can't conceptualize just how big it is and how much things in this world really cost and how much the cost of living is. Now, what I mean that I wish I started budgeting earlier was, like, you know, when you get money for birthdays, when you get money for Christmas or grades or just anything that you get, I wish I had budgeted it better. I wish I had kept count of it. I wish I had made more of a plan for it rather than just being happy to go to the store and buy something. But I would say that getting to make a budget at 15 years old and prepping for money, that was the time I got my first summer job, by the way. That's why I made a budget before I even got my first paycheck. And so I look back and I'm like, wow, okay, I did a really good thing, but I wish I learned earlier. And I hope that, you know, if you're there and you don't make budgets, make a budget. Life is better lived on a budget. The second thing I wish I'd done was learn financial literacy even better, because in school I did not take any financial classes. I don't think it was even offered. And oftentimes when people came to speak, because we had situations where people would come in, give a presentation about, you know, pay yourself first and, you know, save for retirement, put 10% aside. Like, there were always those moments. But I mean, when you're in high school, you don't really have that, again, concept of money because you don't have a budget. You don't really understand. And I wish I'd paid more attention. I wish I'd opened myself up to the financial space when I was much younger. And the reason why is because I remember going to college and just being jarred, like the fact that I had to pay over $30,000 a year, wondering where that money was coming from. I couldn't imagine how much that money was. And I think a lot of people today who have student loans, they're like, oh, but I was 18 when I signed, you know, over full student loans. Because they didn't have a concept of money. They're going to a school that costs $70,000 a year, taking out student loans, and they don't understand how much $70,000 a year is. That the average household income in the United States is about $70,000, and that's how much your school costs. And that's before they pay taxes. I didn't start getting into the financial space until I would say maybe I was like 18, 19 years old. That's when I started listening more to a lot of people in the financial space, reading books on finances, reading articles, following what's going on in the economy. And I'll say about 20 years old was when I really started to participate in it and really start to take steps to better myself and set myself up for financial success. The fourth thing I wish I'd done was open a Roth IRA at 18 years old. Yes, you heard me right, 18 years old. Because I got my first job around 15, I wasn't making that much money, but I wish I'd still known about a Roth IRA and open it and just put a little bit of anything in there. Even if it was like, I don't know, $20 a month, I wish I'd known, and I wish I'd opened it and started it. And this to encourage people out there who are about to turn 18, who are 18 years old, or any age that you are, open a Roth IRA. I have a whole video on Roth IRAs, how to build a Roth IRA and accounts to help you set yourself up for financial success. And so I just wish I'd opened one at 18 years old. I wonder where I'll be now. Probably still here. I didn't have that much money to put in, but especially 18, 19, the little bit that you put in, it compounds. Had I put in at 18 years, I've had what, like 5 years of compound interest because I'm almost 23 now. Wow, what that would have looked like. But I did open my first Roth IRA at 20 years old, so that's still very much ahead of the curve. And like I said, that's when I started really participating in there. So I'm really proud of those steps. I just wish I knew earlier. The fifth thing I wish I'd understood earlier was not to invest in things you don't understand. Now, the good thing about this is that I have not lost a ton of money from this, but there are a lot of people out there who invest in anything that people say is a good investment. Now, remember, people out here want your money, so they're gonna tell you everything that you want to hear to get your money. That includes investments. The only thing I ever invested that I didn't fully understand at the time was in cryptocurrency. Thank God I didn't invest more than a few $100s, because I did want to invest more because everything was just going up and up and up. And this was around like early 2021 when I started like learning a lot about cryptocurrency, but I didn't fully understand and grasp it. Which ones were the best to invest in, about, you know, speculation versus actual long-term investments. So I stopped and cashed out because, you know, I didn't have a ton, but it was still money that was comfortable losing. And that's the great thing. If you're going to invest in something that you don't understand, invest only an amount of money that if it disappeared, you would still be okay. It shouldn't be your retirement savings. It shouldn't be your emergency fund. It shouldn't be your house fund. Always strive to understand everything that you invest in. The sixth thing is learning the art of delayed gratification. And while I've not had like a luxurious life by any means, I would say I have indulged once in a while in things that maybe I look back and I'm like, I could have saved that money for something else. But learning the art of delayed gratification was what helped me through college, because I didn't live on campus. I was commuting, didn't take out any student loan debt, really worked hard to get scholarships, internships, and earn money to pay my way through college. And that really helped me, because had I not had that and been like, okay, I'm sacrificing now so I don't have to pay later, I'd have been probably in a ton of student loan debt. Learning how to have delayed gratification is really important to be financially successful. You know, try to be better at it. And so I sacrifice a lot now for my future, whether it's to save for retirement, to pay off debt, to save for a down payment on a house, an emergency fund. Like, these are all things that require delayed gratification. That every money that comes into your account, you're not spending. I enjoy nice things. I also understand delayed gratification, that by sacrificing now, I will reap a harvest of righteousness in the future, because I have been trained and disciplined by this. And so when that time comes and you see me, then just know that that was sacrificed for my early years, and I get to enjoy the future too. The seventh thing is not to lend money. Now, my first lesson about not lending money was at like 12 years old. I wish I learned earlier than that, and I would never forget that. But I do not lend money anymore, and I've said this in several videos. Do not lend money, especially to family and friends. Do not lend money to random people. Do not lend money at all. Give money that you can afford to not get back. So if somebody asks you for a certain amount of money and you're like, hey, I can't afford, but I can afford to give you $50, and that's all you can afford to lose, that's all you can afford. It sometimes brings about, oh, you don't want to give me money, you don't want to do this, you don't want to help me out. But no, if you get the money and they can't pay because obviously they're going through something that they can't manage their finances, well, this creates an issue. Or I've heard other people who talk about, you know, sit down with them, help them make a budget, and then make a budget to pay you back. But do you really want to do that? Do you want to be that person that is sitting at the dinner table or go out with your friends and then you get mad when you see them buy a Starbucks drink because you're thinking, oh, they could have paid me. You see them go on vacation and you're like, oh, boy, they can't pay me. You see them buy a new flat screen TV and they're telling you all about it and you're thinking, well, but they can't pay me. So because I don't want to live in that negativity, I just don't lend money. And so I can go through this life knowing that I don't owe nobody nothing and nobody owes me nothing. The eighth thing I wish I learned earlier is that the best things that you save on are the things that you never buy. Now, this is because we live in this consumerism environment and culture where people also like go out all out on sales. Like they go and they line up, whether it's for Prime Day, whether it's for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. But if you don't plan to buy those things anyway and you didn't need those things anyway, you're still spending money. Just because it's on sale doesn't mean that you had to buy it. You can't just buy everything because it's on sale. And so for me, when those times comes around, because I do participate in Cyber Monday, for example, what I do is I make a list of all the stuff I want to buy for people for Christmas. I was gonna buy anyway, and then I just look for those items. So I don't look for sales just to be able to participate. Also, for example, I am a big fan of The Ordinary products. I've been using them for several years now. They have a whole sale month for November, so I buy there because I buy their products. I use their products, so that's the best time to buy. But I'm not gonna buy a flat screen TV just because it's on sale. I'm still losing money. It's still expensive, and I have a perfectly good TV. Why do I need a new one? And people get this thrill out of like, I'm saving money. No, you're not. You're buying stuff you don't need. I only buy what I budgeted for. Once in a while, I may see something like, okay, like I'm treating myself and I'm gonna take it out of, my splurge budget to purchase this, but I'm not gonna buy something just because it's on sale. Sales are best when you already have the money and you already plan to buy something. Then you're saving. But if you didn't plan to buy it anyway, you're not saving. You're doing exactly what the stores want you to do. Give them your money. The ninth thing I wish I'd learned earlier is that wants are not needs. Learning how to differentiate between the two of them is what makes you a well-functioning adult and will put you on track for financial success. A lot of times in this world, we've conflicted with like what is a want and what's a need, and what's a need and what's a want. Food is a need. You need food to survive. A shelter is a need because you need it to survive. I mean, you can survive in the street, but who wants to do that? So if you're making a budget, make sure your needs come first, and your needs have to be reasonable. Just because I need a place to stay doesn't mean I need to live in a high-rise apartment that is taking up 70% of my take-home pay. That's not a need. That's a want. Living in an apartment that is clean, that is in a good neighborhood, that is not pest infested, that's a need. Also, food is a need, but you don't need to be eating filet mignon and lobster every single night. That's a want. And so you have to differentiate it. Clothes, of course, are needs because you want to be clothed, but you don't have to partake in buying Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Birkin bags. Those are wants, not needs. And of course, sometimes we're not dealing on such a high scale, but think about the things in your life that you consider to be a need and a want. So which one of these needs are actually wants? Which ones are blurring the line between wants and needs? And you want to find that good spot where you're taking care of all your needs first, and then all your wants are in a small category. Savings is a need. Saving for retirement is also a need. So make sure that you differentiate the both of them and you work to make your budget a standard budget for you that fits your lifestyle, that puts you in line for financial success. And the last but absolutely not the least thing that I wish I learned earlier is to not save just to be saving, but to save for specific goals. And this is really important because when I used to hear presentations and even read about like savings, a lot of times people talk about always save money, save money. Saving money is great. I'd rather you save than not save at all, but save for specific things. What are you saving for? And the reason why you want to be specific is because then you would know whether you're saving enough or not saving enough. Saving, let's say $100 a month is great, but is that gonna get you to retirement? No, probably not. You probably need to amp that up. Even if you save $100 a month for 40 years, that might be better than the average person, but that's still not gonna get you to be able to fully retire, especially if you don't have a lot of other assets to balance it out. So you want to make sure that when you're saving, you're making a specific savings goal. So for example, an emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of your expenses. So let's say I would say $12,000 at, expenses being, let's say $2,000 a month. That's being specific. So when I save $12,000, I know this is my emergency fund. Next is retirement. Let's say I want to max my Roth IRA, and so I'm putting in like $520 something a month to max my Roth IRA. See, that specific is for my Roth IRA. Let's say I want to save for a down payment on a house, so I'm putting away another $300 a month, and that's $3,600 a year for however many years. It's like, okay, this specific money is for down payment on my house. Do not be mixing up all your savings and just have this big pile of money, because if you have $20,000 sitting in your savings account, for example, that seems like a lot of money, right? $20,000 is a lot. But is that enough for all your savings goals? That cannot be retirement, an emergency fund, and saving for, let's say, a car and a house. That $20,000 is definitely not enough money. And I just wish that I had learned earlier to separate, especially in school. How do I separate, like, okay, this is going to be an emergency fund. This is going to be to upgrade my computer. This is going to be for my transportation because I was commuting. This is going to be for my food, for lunch. I used to budget, but I used not to separate money a lot, so I used to get confused. It made it easier by tracking, but that's why now I use the Capital One 360 savings account, and I've been been using it for over a year now. I love it. I have a whole video on it. That's how much I loved it. It's very easy to use, and it allows me to have all these different accounts to separate money and to have specific saving goals. So I do not mix up my accounts. It's separate. Even for my day-to-day items, like I have an account for groceries, I have an account for an emergency fund, I have an account for my car, I have an account for utilities, rent, like all those things are separate. And because I do that, I am able to easier track how much money I actually have for specific things. And with that, I bring in this video to an end. You all, thank you so much for watching my video. Let me know in the comment section what financial knowledge do you wish you had earlier, and what could it have impacted in your life. But remember to like this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and ring the notification bell because I post 2 videos a week on Tuesdays and on Fridays. Come on over because we're talking about a lot of stuff and it's great. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.